Every new generation of Pokemon brings us a bunch of new Pokemon. They're cool, they're sleek, they're cute, they're weird, and sometimes we get Pokemon whose typings just don't make sense, at least not on first glance. Hey guys, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk about one Pokemon that falls under that classification. A Pokemon that I have very much fallen in love with in Pokemon Sun and Moon. And it's just, it really makes me wonder why the typing is what it is. And that Pokemon is Fomantis and Lurantis. I know I said one, but we're doing two because they're the same evolution family. Here we go. We're gonna make sense of why this thing is a grass type and not a bug, even though it looks like a bug. So guys, how are we gonna make sense of this? Well, we're gonna use every bit of information to try and figure out why this type works for this particular Pokemon. Because when you look at this thing, like look at this, look at its body, right? You would say this is the body of an insect. This is totally how a mantis would look. And then, yeah, frick, look, it even has mantis in the name. You would totally be hard pressed to say, yeah, this would be a bug Pokemon, but that's not the reality of the situation. So to figure this out, let's lay out the sources of information that we're gonna use. First off, the appearance. Appearance is a big thing for figuring out typing. Pokedex information, the name, and other official info, such as info coming from the official Pokemon Sun and Moon website. We're going to use these things to see if we can find any kind of clue as to why this is not a bug type. Now, when trying to figure these kind of things out, the best thing to start with is usually the Pokedex. Let's look at Fomantis' Pokedex entries for Sun and Moon. The first one for Sun: during the day it sleeps and soaks up light. When night falls, it walks around looking for a safer place to sleep. Okay, that doesn't really tell us anything, it just tells us its general behavior. And then for Moon, they give off a sweet and refreshing scent. Cutiefly often gather near the tall grass where Fomantis are hiding. Okay, so that's just detailing its interactions with other Pokemon in its habitat. Again, nothing that can really tell us what's going on. And unfortunately for Lurantis, the Pokedex entry barely tells us anything as well. First off, in Pokemon Sun, it requires a lot of effort to maintain Lurantis' vivid coloring, but some collectors enjoy this work and treat it as their hobby. Okay, nothing important there. In Moon, it says it fires beams from its sickle-shaped petals. These beams are powerful enough to cleave through thick metal plates. Okay, initially there's no real information there either, but it does describe one of the features Lurantis, and that is that the sickles on his hands are petals. Okay, so really, this kind of gives us a bit of a segue into the next aspect of Fomantis and Lurantis that we should look at, and that is its general appearance. Yeah, it looks like a bug. As we saw in the Pokedex entry, it mimics the way a bug looks. And the Pokedex entry is just describing that those sickles are petals, and even for Fomantis, if we go and we use the information of its appearance, we see that it has a lot of grass on it. You know, it has a lot of leaves, and the leaves just happen to form in the way of a bug-like shape. Then you would ask, well, why can't it be a bug grass type? Because that would be totally reasonable. I mean, it looks like a bug. But if we look at its other official information, we will see that it has a lot of particularities that are common to plants, such as mentions of having to gather up energy through photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is something that exclusively happens to plants and no insect can really replicate. At least I don't think so. Furthermore, even Lurantis' official information kind of describes how it both looks and smells like a flower. So really in the official information, they are really trying to paint this image that this is a plant. But so at this point, what can we do? Well, let's look at the name themselves, because really when it comes to the name, that's where we get the most clues for what's going on. So with Fomantis, Lurantis' name doesn't have that much that we can really look at. The lore in it doesn't really tell us much. But for Fomantis, it does tell us quite a bit. We know Mantis. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'll get to the Mantis part. But let's start with the Faux part. Faux might refer to a specific word. This. Now, I am ignorant to the French language, so I'm going to assume it is pronounced faux as well, because that's how I'm saying it for Fomantis. But faux here is French for false. So really what you're getting in Fomantis' name is false mantis. Okay, so that's pretty cool. The name itself kind of just declares hey, this isn't a real mantis, so it's not a bug type. But then actually, if we take it a step further and we look at the mantis part of Fomantis' name, this is the jump off point to figure out what's actually going on. So when you look up the mantis and you look up any kind of mantis that's related to flowers, you will find a very specific kind of mantis called, oh dear god, I'm about to butcher this name, Hymenopus corinatus, and otherwise known as the flower mantis. This thing is a little mantis that resembles flowers. So this is the inspiration for Fomantis, but what I think happened is that Game Freak did a little bit of a switcheroo. Instead of having a bug that pretends to be a flower, you have a flower that pretends to be a bug. And they have made the allusions to that kind of concept with flat out declaring that Fomantis is a false mantis. And that's pretty much how I'm going to make sense of this. It's pretty clever on Game Freak's part, taking a concept of an animal mimicking plant life to turn it into a plant mimicking animal life. I think it's a neat concept, and hey, it makes sense in my head. Anyway guys, let me know what you think. Do you think this is kind of on the money? Do you think this is what's going on, that Game Freak just did a really quick switcheroo? And let me know if you like this kind of video. I always want to make new content, and I just always want to give you guys something that, you know, at least makes you go, oh, that's cool. So let me know if that did that for you. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and till next time, I hope you have a great day.